Hey guys, Jin here with the Otakuology podcast, where we like to cover a lot of nerdy shit.
Yeah.
Point blank in the discussion.
Yeah.
But anyway, today we are going to be covering a great manga for y'all, Zom 100. And as always, Mike's here. You know.
I'm Otaku Mike, but it's Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead Volume 1 is what we're covering.
Right. So, starting out, getting into this.
You want to talk about the creators?
Well, no, I want to talk about something else first. So,
All right.
I wasn't originally going to get this one until Mike started, hounding me on how good it was. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I'll pick it up and try it. You know, so I think I actually went to the store and read the first chapter and was like, oh, well, yeah, this is pretty good. I'm gonna buy this. And you know, so I already read the first chapter. I got home and I was like, this is a ripoff because it's only 3 chapters. But it was really good.
You know what's funny, though? People are saying once it gets, Volume 4, it kind of drops off. But I haven't read Volume 4 yet.
Oh, my God.
I hope it gets better. But, manga goes up and down of, stuff like that,
Right?
It depends on
which both of us know that from playing the manga game.
Oh, yeah, it's true. It's true.
Do you think you're certified to rate manga? Have you played that game? No? Get out of my face.
Get out of my face!
Think about all the...
what it means to be a manga creator?
Right. Have you gone through the ups and downs? Do you know? They're not always popular. Sometimes you gotta take a trip to the museum to get your morale up so you can write a good chapter again, okay?
So, story is by Haro Aso, and art is by Kotaro Takata.
Yeah, Takata.
Takata. Did I say that right?
Takata.
Yeah. You wanna start us off on this?
Yeah, I'm gonna read the synopsis on the back real quick for y'all. So it says, after spending years toiling away for a soul-crushing company, Akira's life has lost its luster. But when a zombie apocalypse ravages his town, it gives him the push he needs to live for himself. Now Akira's on a mission to complete all 100 items on his bucket list before he, kicks the bucket. In a trash-filled apartment, 24-year-old Akira Tendo watches a zombie movie with lifeless, envious eyes. After spending 3 hard years at an exploitative corporation in Japan, his spirit is broken. He can't even muster the courage to confess his feelings to his beautiful coworker, Ohtori. Then one morning he stumbles upon his landlord eating lunch, which happens to be another tenant. The whole city swarming with zombies, and even though he's running from impending doom, Akira has never felt more alive.
Yeah.
So, actually, I feel like that tells you the whole 3 chapters.
Yeah, kind of. Anyway. That tells you the whole story.
I was like, oh.
Anyways, you want to get into this?
Yeah. So, as it says in the thing, we start out, Akira's kind of half dead in his apartment. It's all filthy and everything else. And he got into this thinking that his job was going to be wonderful and great. But you find out that the reason why they get paid so well and everything else is because they work all the fucking time.
Can I just say, with this intro to Akira,
yeah,
his fucking apartment is disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like a hikikomori.
Yeah, he's got trash everywhere. And
we find out we find out though, because of his schedule for work, that he goes home, gets to run by the convenience store and get food, basically eat, turn on a zombie movie, fall asleep, and then wake up a few hours later to go from there.
Yeah. And then the story shifts back to 3 years prior. We have a young, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed Akira starting his first official corporate job. He's happy, excited to work. I think they're at it's like a production company or like a computer software company or something like that, right?
Yeah, something like that.
It's always been his dream to work at this this company or a company like this. It seems like he's just happy and happy-go-lucky. He meets this very buxom assistant named Shiori, and he has the hots for her.
Sayori.
After, huh?
Sayori.
Oh, Sayori. Did I say Shiori? Sayori.
Yeah.
Sorry. He's like, oh, she's like, oh, nice to meet you, stuff like that. After the day ends, the Akira and his coworkers go out on a what would you call it? Drinking.
Yeah. So the company that he works at, they process video and whatnot for commercials and other things like that. So
Yeah. And now after their day, they go out drinking on his first day, and they're just all talking, hyping it up. And we find out that Akira used to play rugby at one point, and we see the interaction. He's like, "Oh yeah, this was a great day today," and then he's kind of fantasizing about Shiori and like maybe they'll get together. And then he's like, "Well," everybody's like, "Well, back to the office."
right.
When I got to this part, I was like, "Oh fuck." I'm glad we don't have to do that.
Right.
Because they literally got like shit faced drunk and then now they're going back to the office.
Right. Well, I mean, and that's why it says that they're an exploitative corporation.
Yeah. That's definitely true. And you see the effects that this has on Akira's mental state and well being, honestly, because he is totally out of it, tired, exhausted. His first day ended up being a 2-day. He ended up working 2 days for his first day, technically.
Right.
And he is just tired. He's like, good morning. You know, he reaches I guess he went home, but you see other people there who they're still working, so they never actually went home.
Yeah. Well, and then we have one of the things. They get unpaid.
Yeah, there's not overtime. There's no
overtime.
overtime. I think it was right.
Yeah, and then one of the other guys says, "I worked 120 hours," and he says, "I think I'll pass 150 hours."
Yeah,
this week or something.
And we see Akira's hard ass boss yelling and berating this girl, and we flip the year too, and Akira is still at this horrible job. The girl he likes brings him food. She brings him food, right? No. She brings food for her. She brings the food.
She brings food for him.
Yeah. And he's like, she's like, Akira's like, this is the one person who keeps me sane in the office. And then the next panel, you see, she's also the side piece for the CEO of the company.
Right.
So she's basically like fucking her way to the top, and all you hear is,
That's probably why she's the only one that looks refreshed.
Yeah,
she probably actually sleeps.
I like this little panel where he's sitting outside he's sitting outside the CEO's office, like right outside at his desk, and it's like,
he can hear.
Don't worry, these walls are thick. no one's gonna hear us.
Right.
It's like, oh god, oh god. But yeah, the manga continues. It continues basically the same cycle
Right.
as what he's
Year
going through.
year 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was just it. We go in year 1, year 2, year 3. Like, it's all exactly the same shit.
Yeah, basically the same shit. And then he wakes up one day, goes to talk to his landlord, because he didn't pay his bike rental fees.
Yeah.
I guess that's a thing in Japan, is
I
to not
guess so.
pay the bike. And he finds out that his landlord is a zombie. Oh no, it's a zombie. I was not surprised about this. I knew there were zombies in the manga.
Right.
But we see these panels where Akira is basically running for his life with all these zombies chasing him. He's like, oh my god, I'm going to be late for work. I'm going to be late for work. I'm going to be late for work. I don't have to work anymore.
Right.
This is the best day ever, right?
Right. And then it just goes from being this really happy-go-lucky guy from running, thinking that these zombies, to like just skipping away and dancing around the zombies.
He's like, I am free.
Yeah.
He's like, the colors. I can see the colors, full colors, blue skies, green trees, red blood.
Right.
Excuse me. As everything is coming down around him, he's like, oh man, this is the greatest. And he's laying on top of a roof at one point where all these zombies are behind this chain link fence. And I like this. He's like, he's going to go gather, I think it's supplies. I think it is. No. He starts, I think he starts making a list where he wants to do stuff. He starts gathering supplies at this point, and he finds out that there are other survivors out there.
Yeah.
This scene is funny. Like, I don't know. What do you think of it?
Which these people are his neighbors, the floor below him, I believe.
Yes.
1 or 2 floors below him.
And he's like, hey, do you want anything? As he's shimmying down the drain pipe.
Right. So carefree.
So carefree. Getting on his bike, riding away from zombies. Doesn't have a care in the world. And he's like, oh, I'm going to go find Shiori. He's like, I wonder where she is. And he looks up her address. And he ends up getting to her address. And he gets cold feet. He gets cold feet in this section. And he's like, oh my god, this is the first time we've met each other outside of work. I should have called. I don't know what I'm doing. He's like, well, I'm just doing a wellness check. Right. It'll be okay. And we see Akira walk in, and we see this big, fat, naked man standing in the middle of this apartment. And who is this naked man?
It's the boss.
It's the boss. The boss is in Shiori's apartment. I want you to take this next scene. What does he do? the boss.
The boss like starts charging at him, and he ends up like dogpiling the boss.
Mm-hmm. As he's doing this, he's giving his resignation. Or he's resigning.
Yeah, knocks him kind of out. Which I didn't know for a little while that the boss was wearing a wig.
Oh, was he?
Yeah. So if you watch the first part, it's like combed over, and then you see in this part where he's a zombie that it's still kind of there.
Oh yes, I see it.
And then after he fully tackles him through the door, then it's flying off.
Yeah, but I love this scene where he's like, "Sir, do you have a minute? We need to talk."
Yeah.
I've been breaking my back for this company for years, and all it does is turn me into an excuse. The term a zombie. I don't remember what I was working for. It pains me to say, consider this my resignation as the zombie is charging towards him. Yeah, I love this scene.
Yeah.
This scene was so unexpected.
Right.
I did
Well, I
not
think
think
that part and the next scene are definitely both unexpected.
when we see Shiori topless with her zombie titties hanging out.
Yeah,
Is that the one?
from being bit. Well, no,
Yeah.
after that, where he's standing in the doorway and he goes, "From the moment we first met, I've been completely head over heels in love with you." And then the next one is him running away from her as she's in her lingerie chasing him down.
And he's like, "Goodbye, my first love."
Yeah,
Oh man, I love that scene. That scene was so funny. Oh, like that kind of makes it for
yeah.
the
Which I
manga
mean, and
itself.
then right after that, I find it really funny because sometimes like when you're younger, like if a
Yeah,
girl lets you get to like a base or whatever, then you kind of have that celebratory moment, I guess. And
yeah,
that's kind of what I felt like in this last page of this chapter, where he goes, yeah, it kind of like, oh, well, nothing came out of it, but at least I got to see her tits.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, that was funny. Yeah,
I mean,
and so
and that's kind of, I had different friends growing up that were kind of like that. Like,
yeah,
oh, hey, this girl I was really interested in, I got a kiss from her, and it was like, whatever. But then there was maybe a girl that they were fooling around with because they didn't know if that relationship was going to work out, and they're
yeah,
like, oh, she showed me her boobs or whatever, and it was like
yeah,
nonchalant. So it's just kind of funny how this guy presents it.
yeah. No, most definitely his outlook on the world is really funny.
So, but
Like,
this outlines what our next chapter is going to be, because he's like, I want to live each day to the fullest.
yeah, he cleans his apartment, completely cleans it, and has a beer, and he's like, "Oh man, I'm out of beer. I need more beer. Let's go on a beer run." Because
Right,
that's the thing. That's what you need to do. You need to get drunk, and clean your apartment. And when you run out of beer, you run out of beer. You got to get more beer.
right,
But I like this scene where he has no. All he wants is beer. He doesn't care about food or anything like that. He just wants some beer. So he's not thinking straight when it comes to survival zombie 101 type of shit.
no, because he's so excited, he just wants to enjoy himself.
Yeah, I love this next scene where we see his neighbors again, and they're like, "Oh, you're going out? You know, aren't the police coming?" And they're like, there's zombies everywhere, whatever. He's like, "Oh, good morning." He's like, "Hey, do you guys want me to bring you something back?"
Right,
And they're like, "Can you bring me some women magazines and uh, the trashier the better."
right. Which I'm kind of confused if they're together. Why he would need those,
why
but
why he would need those?
yeah,
So as he's huffing it on his bike, he goes to this convenience store, and we meet one of the other characters in this manga. She is a young woman. She's standing there with a bottle of water. With I don't know how what would you say this? Would you call this scene like very cheesecakey?
not per se. I mean, she's sweaty, so we know like she ran there or whatever, but she's wearing all like athletic attire,
Yeah. And who
which
is
is
this
also
person?
not Zombie
Well, I mean, they
101.
show her butt too, and they show her
Yeah,
like they make an effort to point out that this girl is she's got it going on, if you know what I
right.
mean. Who is this person?
Stacy's mom. Stacy's mom. Did I not get that right? Is it not Stacy's mom?
No, it's not. Who is this person?
So this is our other character Shizuka, which we don't actually find out her name till our 3.5 half episode
Yeah.
or chapter.
And
But
Shizuka is gathering
it
supplies.
it really cracks me up because he's like, "Oh, I'm just here to get beer," and she starts like dogging on him about getting beer, and then
Yeah.
you see what she's wearing, and you're like, "But you're like almost fully exposed to get bit by a zombie." So
Yeah. But she's determined to survive and get through this zombie apocalypse. I like this next scene where they're in the convenience store talking. He's like, "Hey, can I have your contacts?" And she's like, "Nah, you don't get my contacts because you just want beer."
right,
And I like this scene where she like just throws a bunch of magazines on the ground and like walks away.
yeah,
And she just all the zombies are falling, and he's like, "Hey, my bike!" And so Shizuka steals his bike, Akira's bike, and Akira is left high and dry with just his beer.
and
But he is okay because he
and he
finds
takes
a
the
moped.
Vespa. He
He
takes the
finds
Vespa.
he takes a Vespa, and then after he gets the Vespa, he gets a motorcycle.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, I couldn't have waited."
And you see him going down the street, hauling ass on his motorcycle, having the time of his life. He gets back to his apartment, and we find out, oh no, his neighbors are dead. What a surprise!
Right.
What happens next? Oh, he
Then
starts making his list. He starts making his list.
yeah, then he goes upstairs and uh he goes upstairs and he starts drinking and watching zombie movies still.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And then
and
it kind of shifts. Some time goes by, and we find out that he's going to go save his friend.
yeah,
But I like this scene where it shows him like a few hours earlier, and he's trying to grow a beard. And he scratches it off his list because he's like, it's itchy. I don't like beards.
right.
Which, not gonna lie, I think he should have had a beard. He should have grew a beard. He stopped too short. It was just stubble. It wasn't even a full beard. It was just stubble. Okay, it's not
right,
even a beard. Okay, I mean, come on.
right.
Beards are cool. And then we meet. He gets a text because his phone gets working from Ryuji. Ryuji is an old friend of his,
Yeah,
or you also know him as Kincho
yeah,
as well.
Kensho.
And
Uh, which he
so
is he's basically a host guy.
yeah. So I have a question for you.
Okay.
We see uh we see uh Kensho.
Wait, did you say on the beard part real quick? Did you say that he grew a beard?
He tried to grow a beard because one of
Yeah,
his things
he
is
just
grow cool.
well, he just had stubble, and then he actually drew the beard on
Yeah,
with
he
a
draws
marker.
a mat. He uses like a marker and draws the beard on.
Yeah, and he's like, I don't like it.
Yeah, he doesn't like it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, what was your question?
Oh, so we meet Kenshiro, and Kenshiro is
Kincho?
in Kinsho as they call him. Like it's in his name says Kenshiro in the book. But I
Huh?
think he calls him Kinsho. But his full name's like Kenshiro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he's in this room, and he's
Oh,
in
you
like
mean Kenichiro? Okay.
Kenichiro. Yeah, Kenichiro. I
Yeah.
said it wrong. Kenichiro. He's trapped in this room, and it looks like a sex room. It is a sex
Yeah.
room.
He's at a dungeon. He's at a
He's in a
sex
dungeon.
hotel.
He's in a
Yeah.
sex hotel, and there is a woman who has been turned into a zombie. She is strapped to a restraint of some kind. Like it's like a what would you call it? What do you call these things?
She's strapped to a oh, what is it? It's in Game of Thrones. Um, a Flayer's cross or a Flayer's
Yeah,
axe.
he happens to pick a bondage room for for the room he went into to try to survive. So I have a question for you. If this was you in this room, would you fuck the zombie?
No. Definitely not. Obviously, you hadn't seen enough zombie movies, okay?
I mean, that would just popped into my head. But
there's a movie I watched once where the girl hadn't changed into a zombie yet, but she was bitten. And when her and the guy had unprotected sex, because of the pulling on the muscles and everything or whatever, there was this weird exchange of blood. And because it was unprotected, he ended up turning into a zombie too.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, hell no, definitely not.
So, what happens next in this manga?
That'd be like sleeping with a corpse.
I mean, it's technically undead, so is it technically necrophilia?
Yeah, it's necrophilia.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
You said the next part. So we find out that with Kincho that they actually went to school together.
Mm-hmm.
They were on the rugby team,
and
he was kind of tired of him, probably from work as well.
Yeah, because he ends up getting a really good job.
But Kincho was also, like basically seeing models and doing all this stuff. Because he's a host, so obviously he's got to sit there and talk with these ladies and work stuff out with clients and all this other stuff. And we always had Akira kind of be jealous of it. And then later on we find out too that Kincho has actually been jealous of Akira off and on.
Yeah, true.
But
yeah,
we have,
and that kind of broke up their friendship.
Yeah,
and so Akira gets to the Love Hotel to save Kincho, and he actually gets there in stylish fashion on his motorcycle. We see there's a lot of naked zombies in this book.
Yeah, there is.
There's a lot of naked, fat zombies in this book.
Yeah, fat zombie guys, zombie girls.
Yeah. And we get this thing where like they're apologizing to each other, and Akira's like, you were right. You were right all along. I should have quit. It's my fault, and I took my anger out on you. And they kind of have a little apology makeup session as they're running away from the zombie horde. And they get to this next scene where they're on top of a roof and they're like, oh my god, we gotta jump. And they ripped off and moved the AC units, it looks like, to barricade the door. I want to know how they did that.
Yeah. Maybe they just picked him up.
And so we see, they're like, okay, Akira's like, okay, we got to jump. We have to jump and get to the next building because we're not going to survive. And Akira jumps, gets all bloody, has a tumble. And we have this scene. This scene I actually really, really like, where the zombies are trying to. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Bust through the door, and Kincho is very unsure whether or not he's even going to make this jump. And he's like, that awesome job of mine, I hated it too. So they basically felt the same both about their jobs. Like you said, he felt empty, and you know, he making a complete ass of himself, and he's like, I didn't even want to do this job. I wanted to be a stand-up comic. And we get the scene where Akira's like, then quit. Kiss your old job goodbye. You can still be a comedian.
Right.
Take it from me. Listen to your friend's advice. And we get this like really cool scene where the zombies are charging at Kincho, and Kincho is running, and he fucking strips midair while
Right.
jumping.
Which that's the part that I think is funny because we do see where he was the comedian in college
Uh huh.
and he's got the rugby ball like sitting
Yeah.
in front of it
He's sitting in front
as
of his
he's sitting there.
dick.
Yeah, sitting there as he's joking about it. And so it was really
Yeah.
funny for him to strip like this.
I like this next scene where you see him jump and he's full frontal, like just jumping for it, and he's like, "Oh, my balls!"
Right. Right.
So he didn't cover his balls whatsoever. Yeah,
Right.
we get this nice heart to heart, like with Akira and Kinsho
Which
talking, drinking.
I don't know if they're still on the rooftop.
Yeah, they're still on the rooftop. Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
because he's crossing something off his list, which is number 32. Drink and laugh with your best bud.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, they're
Which
still on the.
so far he's gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, and 32 done.
Yeah.
Which are confess to the girl I love, clean my room, loaf around and drink beer all day, ride a motorcycle, grow a cool beard, and drink and laugh with my best bud.
Yeah. True. True that. And then we get this next extra chapter, which I don't know if it's a bonus chapter. I don't think it's a bonus chapter, it's just half of a chapter. Where
I'm
we
not sure because it says it's 3.5, but it's actually pre that. It would be more of a 1.5 because it's when he goes to the convenience store.
True. And we finally meet Shinzaku or
Suzuka.
Shizuka, whatever her name is. And
Shizaku.
we see her and she's researching, she has the TV on, she has all these different medications and vitamins, and she's weighing out the situation, the pros, the cons, the threats, and you can see as well she's been studying because she is watching all these different zombie movies. Did you see
Right.
this stack of zombie movies she has right here?
Yeah, I think so.
So she has the zombie survival guide, which is a book. She has So Now You're a Zombie, which is a book as well. She has World War Z, Zombieland, 28 Days Later, Dawn of the Dead, Return of the Living Dead, Evil Dead, and Zombie 2. Those are all the movies she watched.
Yeah, there's
Which,
one that's hard to read, but it says Zombie Dawn of the Dead.
yeah, I said that.
The really dark one.
Yeah, it says Dawn of the Dead.
But the page before that, she has a list that she has 100 things to do to avoid becoming a zombie.
Yeah, and then we get this scene where she meets Akira from her point of view, and which is really funny. And that's how our manga ends. Our first volume. Let me ask you this: what did you think of this manga?
I thought this manga was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I I think it's really funny, especially with how we kind of have two opposing characters. One of them that's like super happy go lucky,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't exactly care, about it because he's always been held down and held at a standard.
Yeah.
And then we have this other one that's all like the classic what you should be in a zombie apocalypse, make sure you have
Mm-hmm.
food, do all this other stuff,
Yeah.
um, and all that stuff. And then we actually have this third character rolled into it with Kincho
Mm-hmm.
that I we're kind of unfamiliar of where he's going to go exactly because could be more like Akira or even worse than Akira. So
yeah, true.
um but I find it really funny and just hilarious about how the stuff happens and where we found Kincho at like almost like a brothel love hotel place. And
Yeah,
the outlook from Akira, I I just think it's a hilarious turn on most zombie things because we don't
yeah.
have more of a comedy aspect to them.
It definitely subverts the zombie tropes. It's a lot more like Zombieland, or yeah, probably just Zombieland to be exact. You know, it has more of that style or comedy. Kind of almost carefree
Yeah,
aspects. But I enjoyed this first volume, and it gets better in the second volume. I'm currently in the middle of volume 3, which some people say it falls off a little bit after that, but I think it's fine so far. It might take a small dip in quality. I'll have to get volume 4 to see where it goes. But I picked this up because of the creator. Uh, he also did a manga that I really enjoyed called Hiding Closer,
yeah,
and that's one that not a lot of people talk about. But Zom 100 seemed to really kind of slowly gain a following on like Instagram and like in the manga tube scene. And I ended up
yeah.
picking it up because Meet the Weeb family like really, really enjoyed the first volume. So I was like, okay, I'll pick it up. And I really enjoyed it too. I thought it was fun. Uh it's definitely different, and I'm interested to see if you end up picking up more of this series.
I
And
probably will. I just haven't gotten the chance to.
yeah, because I mean, I liked the aspect of I really related to the whole working at a place that you don't always really enjoy, um, and kind of being a slave to your job at aspects. And it's a very relatable situation, aside from the zombie apocalypse, with maybe like what would you do in a zombie apocalypse type of thing. But yeah, it was fun. I liked the art. I did feel like it kind of jumped around a little bit in between like scenarios. Like it jumps around, like it doesn't fully explain everything, but it just jumps around. It doesn't really hold your hand with that
Yeah,
aspect, which I liked. It doesn't over explain stuff, which I like. It's like just like, it's a zombie apocalypse. We don't need to explain this to you. We don't need to explain how it really happened. We don't need to explain what kind of virus this is, you know.
yeah.
But that's what I liked. It was just a different take, and I'm excited to read more because it gets really weird in the second volume, and it's fun. Like it's funny. It's there's a zombie shark in the second volume. Yeah, there's a zombie shark at one point, and the people he eat become zombies, and the zombies' legs are sticking out of the shark, so the shark's able to come on land.
What the hell?
Yeah, it's weird.
What the hell?
Yeah, it's fun. It's so much fun. Yeah,
I don't know
it's
what to
crazy.
say about that.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So would you recommend this to any other people?
Oh, for sure. I
Yeah,
would probably recommend this to anyone that enjoys zombie esque stuff or comedies.
yeah.
Um,
It
you
it
know,
has that nice balance of comedy and horror like mixed
right,
together.
right. Which I thought it was funny too. The zombie survival guide is actually, if it's not the one that came out or whatever, I actually have the manga zombie survival guide.
Oh, really? It's the book. I think it is.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I thought that was a little funny as well.
yeah.
Her
True.
research material.
Yeah, her research material.
Yeah. But total, I would probably give this probably 4 stars out of 5.
Yeah, I would be the same. I would give it 4 stars out of 5 as well. I think it's a good first opening for the story, but it leaves me wanting more, and and I kind of
Right,
I wanted a little bit more zombie killing. He doesn't really kill any zombies in this.
right. Yeah,
He's he's kind of like just, oh, I'm happy go lucky. Ah.
right, right.
He's kind of
I
basically like living his life with the zombie apocalypse in the background.
and I feel like I would have liked probably a few more chapters.
Yeah, 'cause you only get 3.5 chapters.
Right. So it just
This is putting this up to like um the other signature editions. That's the
yeah,
Viz Sigs. Putting it up to like Ultraman and say like Asadora and Gundam Thunderbolts or uh No Guns Life, it actually is uh less content in the volumes. The volumes are about the same size all around.
right. So
Uh
the chapters are probably a little bit longer, but as much stuff that you actually cover in it after the first chapter, which is heavy on on setting up the world and everything. After
yeah.
that, it's just kind of simple, like there's not very much added into it.
True, true, true.
So
But yeah, I mean,
if you're
go ahead.
looking at finding just kind of like a great shonen zombie manga to read and enjoy, I would say pick this up. You might want to wait for a few more issues to come out and just buy like
Well,
all of them at once.
they come out pretty frequent. So the first 4 are out at this moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they've come out pretty fast. And I think in Japan they have at least 9 volumes so far. So
Yeah.
eventually he's going to cross everything off of his list cuz
That's true. I'm
each
kind of I'm kind of planning it out like cuz My Name is Earl has a list in it,
yeah,
and you sit there and you kind of think, okay, well, nothing's ever going to go from there. Like the list is never going to end, but you realize, like, at some point,
his list is going to end.
it is going to end,
I,
which, at least in that aspect, he adds to it. But I think with this one kind of pigeonholing itself into saying, well, it's just 100 things, I don't really see there being more that he adds to it.
well, he adds at the bottom. He adds like I think like 1 or 2 things. He adds meet a woman. No, because he only has 3 things. He has he
Yeah,
has
he only has 33 right
he has
now.
1, 2, 3, 4, 10, and 32. So I'm guessing from what I've read so far, each chapter seems to be a part of his bucket list.
Yeah.
From going forward, it seems like. So I don't see this. What I'm curious if it just does like 100 chapters. That would be interesting. Like 100 chapters in each
Honestly,
book.
honestly, I couldn't see that because
Why?
we already covered 5 and 3, so
Oh, true, true.
you know
Unless we start covering what's her face's list.
that's true too. We
Yeah.
could
So
and then I mean, if the other thing is if Kincho starts a list too,
true. Yeah. I mean, I hope it doesn't go on and drag on forever, but I could see, I would like to see him at least cross everything off of his list in some way, shape, or form. You
right?
know.
Maybe this will have a good like set all together, and it'll be fun
Yeah.
throughout the entire thing.
Yeah. True. But yeah, I totally recommend this manga. It's is honestly a pleasant surprise as somebody who has been burnt out on zombie manga before or zombie stuff before.
Yeah,
I really enjoy this one, you know. We don't get a lot of zombie manga.
right. Well, And I mean, that's what I'm saying. Compared to, we have, um, oh crap, Hour of the Zombie,
Kingdom of
and
Z is one of them.
I've never read that one. We have the I Am a Hero,
Yeah.
and all that. A lot of those ones are all done basically on a serious note.
Yeah.
Um, so that was another thing. Like I said, with this one, I love the comedic aspect to it.
So you were very pleasantly surprised that you enjoyed this book.
I would say so.
Yeah.
I would also say I was a little shocked that there were um as many boobs in it
No,
as there were,
most
because
definitely.
that first scene when you see the girl that he likes and you're like, oh, okay. And then you're reading and then you find out his friends in like a love hotel and then you see all that and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's a lot.
Yeah. Most definitely. I mean, the Viz Sigs line is always more mature than the regular Shonen Jump line, anyways. But I was very surprised that we saw zombie tits. There
Right.
were so many of them.
Right.
Yeah.
So, well, everybody listening, we hope that maybe you'll go out and pick up this book. Let us
Yeah,
know
most
what you
definitely.
think. Let us know where you think on all of our places that you can contact us at. Mike will tell you that.
YouTube, Instagram, Twitter,
Everywhere.
pretty everywhere where podcasts are. We're on that platform.
Everywhere, just write a letter and write Otakuology on it.
Yeah.
Somehow it'll get to us.
Search Otakuology, you'll find us.
Right?
We're not hard to find.
We're
You
not.
know?
We're pretty open to find.
Yeah. And leave a comment down our YouTube page. Let us know what you thought of the episode, what you thought of the book. Are you reading this book? Are you going to pick up this manga? Let us know.
Right? And stay
But
tuned for more great
thanks for
content from us.
thanks for listening.
Right? See you next Tuesday.
Bye.